Hello everyone, I'm the Mad Catter, and today I wanted to talk about another incident at the Waffle House. This poor franchise has really been through the ringer over the past week. The most recent incident was brought to my attention by the Young Turks in yet another cringy report they titled, "Black Woman Exposed and Arrested for Absurd Reason." Yeah, the reason was absurd, but anyone who actually agrees with the Young Turks will soon find themselves living in a van down by the river. This insanity-laden video was nearly impossible to watch.
I figured I've been a success at being a failure for over 75 years. Now that's saying something, ain't it? Wrote a song about it.
So a woman was tackled at a Waffle House in Alabama. Cops arrested her. And she's 25-year-old Shakesia Clemens in Saraland, Alabama. She herself is from Mobile. There is video of the incident. Here's what happened inside that Waffle House.
That's the only thing she asked me. I'm gonna go over there and get the car from there.
I heard the F-bomb and everything.
No, because Goldie was sitting here talking crazy to me. No, but that's not what you're gonna do to me. You're not gonna grab on me like that, no. Come on, Kiki, let's just go outside. Please talk to you separately. Cause he just come here and just grabbed on me like for no reason. I would say I was doing anything. Why you y'all pushing her? She not doing nothing. Like really? Like what are y'all doing? No, y'all doing nothing. Y'all ain't really doing stuff to me. What are you doing?
Man, I'm about to break your arm. That's what I'm about
You
to do.
You about to break her arm? I don't understand what's going on. She not. Y'all ain't even talking about why she being on the rail. Y'all not even telling me what I'm doing. Like why you talking? Kiki, just come over. Kiki, come over.
Pull your head around.
What am I doing wrong? What did I do wrong? Y'all haven't told me anything that I did wrong.
The reason she was tackled, the reason this escalated to the level it did was a very important reason. Clemens asked for plastic utensils while placing an order at the Waffle House on Industrial Parkway in Saraland early that morning and was told by a female employee that plasticware costs 50 cents, according to her mother. They tried to charge her for plastic utensils. She wondered why she was being charged for plastic utensils, and I'm sure you're asking yourself the same question which I was asking myself. When do they ever charge for plastic utensils?
So what he's saying is that a Waffle House employee called the cops because this lady wondered why she had to pay 50 cents for plasticware. Judging from her total dismissal of authority figures, something tells me she did more than just wonder. In fact, I'm wondering how many alcoholic beverages she inhaled before gracing this establishment with her presence.
At a Waffle House or anywhere.
Yeah, never. Yeah, I've never at any restaurant. I've been to a million Waffle Houses.
In specific things that I noticed when that video was playing, one, they keep having her roll over one way and another as though they themselves have not figured out how to make this arrest.
And in case it wasn't clear what was said during it, she said, "What are you doing?" And the officer says, "I'll break your arm. That's what I'm about to do."
Oh, well, no, to be fair though, she did not pay the 50-cent charge. So let's assume for a second that that's a wide scale thing that just happened and we didn't realize and we haven't caught on to the trend that if you ask for a plastic fork, they're gonna charge you 50 cents. Okay, let's grant them that for a second, which is non-existent, but let's grant that, okay? You really as a cop, you think the proper thing to do here is, hey guys, this is a minor dispute. Let's just wrap this thing up, right? And de-escalate this thing. And I know you guys are mad at each other, but let's talk it through. Or I'm gonna break your arm.
What are you doing?
Man, I'm about to break your arm. That's what I'm about to do.
You about to break her
I'm
arm?
gonna throw you on the ground and your clothes are gonna come off, etc. Why? Because you didn't pay 50 cents because you were having a perfectly normal dispute about whether a plastic fork costs 50 cents.
And she was booked on charges of disorderly conduct and resisting arrest. I just can't, when they have you on the ground and every time I see a video of someone being tackled, it's always, you're resisting. And I look at that person in that situation, I'm like, what are you supposed to do when someone's shouting at you and pulling your arms in directions they're not supposed to go?
So the Young Turks act as though they themselves behave like this in public on a regular basis, and they attempt to lead their viewers to believe that her conduct in this situation was appropriate.
Yeah, so guys, does anybody out there, let's put the racial component aside for a second. Does anyone out there think that if this was Nobu in Beverly Hills and they had a dispute about whether they were gonna charge for a plastic fork, that the cops come in and take a woman that's really well dressed and is obviously very rich in Beverly Hills and throw her on the ground, her top comes off, they threaten to break her arm. Are you insane? No one thinks that, right? Because the reality is then the cops could be in a lot of trouble because that person is rich and probably has power. He might, as a cop once said on our show, he might know a judge. He might know this and he might know that. But if you don't have any power and you're poor and you're at a Waffle House, they'll threaten to break your arm and then charge you and throw you in jail.
So this is the way the Young Turks expect all poor people to act, and I think that much is obvious. They wouldn't even entertain the thought that this woman should have known better, and she could simply have just been inebriated and having a crappy night. Whatever the case may be, this behavior should not be normalized, and it's irresponsible of the Young Turks to be pushing it like it's just normal, healthy questioning of the law. Like resisting arrest is well within our rights, and it's up to the police to de-escalate the situation.
And then at the end, I don't know if you heard that either, the last thing the officer says as he has her on the ground, he turns back and just goes, "Do you want to come fix her clothes?" To her friends. And the friend just says, "No, you messed them up, you fix them."
Do you want to come fix her clothes?
All right, so can we teach de-escalation to our cops? Is that possible? Or no? The answer is, and it's all in training. Show force, let them know you're a boss. Okay, if the guy's got a gun or it's a bank robbery, I can see why, hey, you know what, if you're forceful in your commands, that might actually be helpful. We get that. Not if you're at a Waffle House and this overwhelming dispute over plastic and 50 cents, then maybe you should train them. Oh, in a different situation, maybe you should de-escalate and not raise your voice and not throw people to the ground and rub them on the dirty ground and then throw them in prison and maybe ruin their lives. Can we teach that to our cops?
According to Chang, this was actually the fault of the cops, who should apparently do pretty much nothing in these situations. If this incident ends her up in jail, it was the police who ruined her life. She had no responsibility in this at all, completely without blame. What sort of a cretin would actually believe that? I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the Young Turks are bigots, okay? Absolutely, these people are classists, okay? They claim that the police are bigots, that the Waffle House and Starbucks are just teeming with them, while they themselves act like this is normal behavior for people near or below the poverty line. I mean, just remember what Cenk warns. This could happen to you, too.
I can't go on with this. I can't go on with this. I'm an American. I'm an American. I love this country. I love my country.
Here's an idea. When people start acting mentally insane, maybe the police should call the local asylum, have the white coats come down, trank the suspect, put him in a little jacket instead of cuffs, take them off to the drunk tank, maybe the hospital or wherever, just so that they're not a danger to themselves or others.
We're a danger to ourselves and others. Oh, it kind of reminds me of Darwin's theory of natural selection.
Yeah, if you're down, you die.
I say that's a ritual there, Hooter. Oh, I'm a danger to myself and others. My cousins are as close as brothers. I stay out in the rain all the time.
He's a danger to himself and others. On the like shows with Sally Struckers. I can't even think of a word that rhymes.
What he just did.
How dumb are you, Uncle Dad?
Well, pretty dumb, that's for sure.
How dumb are you, Uncle Dad?
Well, this pot's filled with manure.
We're
a danger to ourselves and others. Cause the earth is still our mother. Leave us in the woods and we're just fine. We're a danger to ourselves and others. Good livestock, good better lovers. On leech is what we call a good time. Oh boy, I'd like to shake hands with any giant leech who lived through that.
What, the dynamite or that crappy song?
Thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave them below. Please like and subscribe if you're feeling generous, and remember to stay classy if you know what's good for you.
We'll be right back.